I'm Marci Baron, and this is Mondays with Marci. I'm your homeward bound guide to everything 5D living. I can't wait to share with you tips and tools to guide your personal transformation so that you can live a life that thrills you. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's Mondays with Marci. I am Marci Baron, your host, and I am so excited for this week's interview with Shelby May, who is a psychic medium. Shelby, welcome.
Thank you, Marci. It is truly an honor and to be here with you today. I am so excited, truly. So
Well,
thank you for inviting me.
my pleasure. I think we first have to, before we even get into anything about being a psychic medium and all of these things, the story of what happened with us in scheduling this podcast. And I think it had to start with you because you were driving in your car and you had the thought of what?
Uh, it was so wild because it was literally that morning. I was driving in my car and I had this overwhelming feeling of being on a podcast. And I said to myself, this is being presented to me. I said, I really feel I want to be on a podcast. And not even maybe 15 minutes later, I get a text from you inviting me on your podcast. I was like, what?
Yeah.
So it was just, complete sign from the universe saying, yes, you are on the right path. And I truly feel that it was my intuition that was guiding me.
Yeah.
Although I was asking for it, right? It was just that envision of being on a podcast and then saying, ooh, I want to be on a podcast. I hope somebody really asks me.
Well, I just need to say that within those 15 minutes in my mind, you popped in. And I was like, I need to message Shelby to be on my podcast. So like, I really feel like this leads to people really understanding that telepathy is real. This is a real thing. It is energetic. And this is a perfect segue into, who are you? What do you do? And what is your story that got you here? I think it's a fascinating story. I love it. And I would love everyone to hear.
Sure. Yeah, it actually is. And the more I think about it, I say, wow, like how blessed am I? I really am blessed. So I am a psychic medium, which means that I do have the ability to tune into you or your auric field energetically and talk about the past, the present, and guidance into the future. And I also have that ability to tap into your loved ones or connect or channel with your loved ones that are in the spirit world. And that's what makes me a psychic medium. I did not always know that I was a psychic, or did I know I was a medium? I suffered extremely with anxiety when I was younger. I had it really, really bad. I did have a lot of childhood trauma starting at the age of 2. I had a lot of things, and you and I had gone over that, right? So I had a lot of things that had happened to me. I was always told I was so super sensitive. Oh, stop crying. It's only a TV show. Oh, stop crying. They'll be okay. Or, oh, you're so dramatic. Why are you crying? Or, so I always knew that I was different, right? I did. I always knew I was different. I had a lot of trauma. I had a lot of fears because I did not have the feeling of being safe when I was younger. That stuck with me. And so there was this calling inside of me of always wanting to help people, especially children for some reason. I always felt drawn to reaching out to children. So I noticed when I was younger, I would look at people and I would observe them, younger people, and I would say, oh, I want to help them. I want to fix them. I could sense and feel if there was something going on, not knowing that I was doing that. I just was drawn to them, the broken people. So I had this overwhelming sense of wanting to help people. And I always said, well, when I get older, I'm going to be a psychologist or psychiatrist. And that didn't pan out the way
Yeah.
I wanted it to. Um, However, what happened was on my journey, my anxiety took over, and it was
Mm.
an awful time in my life where it got to the point I had my children and I really couldn't leave my house. It was
Oh.
really bad. I couldn't leave my house. I noticed that when my husband and I went to public places with large crowds, I noticed that my anxiety became more overwhelming.
Yeah.
If we would take them to amusement parks, or, if my husband and I would go out to dinner, I would say to him, you have to just drop the money on the table. Forget the steak and lobster. Let's go. We got to go. We got to run.
Mm.
Things like that. If I would go supermarket after putting the kids on the bus, I would go to the supermarket and I would notice that there would be many people in there and my anxiety would just fully take over. I couldn't understand why. I didn't understand because my safe place was being back in my car or going back home.
Right.
And I feel, if I could breathe again. Okay, I could breathe. Okay. And so it stopped me from doing things. It stopped me from living my life and enjoying myself. And I remember vividly driving in the car because that was my safe place and going for a ride. And I remember crying and crying and just saying a prayer to the universe, saying, please help me. I can't do this anymore. Please, I don't know what's going on with me. And make a long story short, what happened was my husband got diagnosed with melanoma. And so we had to take him to the oncologist. And I was taking him there. And while we were in the examining room for my husband, I noticed that I was touching my arm and my arm felt really, really weak. It was the strangest thing that happened. And I kept on rubbing my arm, not knowing what it is that was wrong with my arm. But
Mm.
the oncologist turned around and he said to me, he turned around, he opened up his cabinet on his wall, and he pulled out a card of a neurologist. And he handed this to me and he said, you may need this number to a neurologist. He said, I notice you're rubbing your arm. Have you ever gotten that checked out?
Huh.
I thought that was so strange. And I
Yeah.
said, no. But I held on to that number. And the next day I woke up and I couldn't raise either one of my arms. And I freaked out. I freaked out. I called my mom and she said, you probably have a pinched nerve and it's running down your back, your neck into your arms. And I said, yeah, you're right. And then the next day came and I couldn't walk. And I went into full blown panic, right? Because I
Wow.
never had that feeling as a child of feeling safe to begin with. So it was like, here it is, here it comes. This is
Right.
what I've been waiting for. And I wound up calling my doctor. And of course, she did a battery of tests on me and everything came out okay. And she said, I'm going to recommend you to a neurologist. And I said, I've got a number. And I pulled out that card. I made the appointment and I went to his office. And after doing all the workup on me, he said, I've got good news and bad news. What do you want to hear first? And I said, give me the good news. And he said, the good news is you're going to be okay.
Mm.
And I said, well, then what's the bad news? He said, let me ask you a question. He said, have you ever meditated? Have you ever gone to yoga? And
Mm.
I said, no. And
Mm.
he said, I think that's where you need to be. He
Wow.
said, because your mind, your body is attacking yourself because of your mind. And so
Wait, we
somehow,
just need to stop there for a minute
yeah,
because that is a thing, a concept, an idea that everyone needs to hear.
yeah,
And what a beautiful gift of this particular neurologist to know the mind body connection and recommend you to get out of your mind and into your body with a practice like yoga.
absolutely. Absolutely. I was frozen. My body was frozen. I literally could not walk.
Or
And
shut
well,
down.
yeah, I did. My body just shut down. And I'm sure it was speaking to me beforehand and I ignored
Oh,
everything else
yeah.
it was giving me. But that
Yeah.
was the final, uh,
Can't
how they
walk.
could take me. Right.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I wound up going into a yoga studio and I sat on the mat. I don't think I even did a yoga move. I just cried and cried. And the woman said to me, "You look like you can use a healing." And I said, "I need whatever healing I can get right now, please, whatever that means." And she said, I offer Reiki. Why don't you allow me to do Reiki on you?" And I was desperate. I said, "Yes, of course, please." And so I made an appointment with her. Little did I know that I should have came with 2 cups, taped to the sides of my eyes
Yeah.
because I would have been filling them up. And I cried and I cried and I cried. And what happened was, Marci, she said to me, Shelby, she said, "I offered this to teach people, and maybe you should learn how to do this so that you can learn how to heal yourself." And I said, "Oh, please, yes, I would love that." So I went into her class, not knowing a single soul in there. And she brought us through this meditative state. And while I was meditating, I wasn't aware that I was meditating. I started getting downloaded with information. For a woman that was next to me, her aunt came through giving me these messages. I saw that the teacher, was going to be bringing us yellow roses at the end of the class. And at the end of the attunement, at the end of the class, she wanted us to share our experiences. And everybody, and I was one to be shy, not speak up, and everybody was talking and they were saying, "Oh, I saw colors," and it was just so relaxing and so beautiful. And everybody shared their nice experiences. And I said, I said, "Well, how come nobody's speaking up about my experience?" And
Wow.
so I raised my hand and I said to her, "Maria, I had a completely different experience." And I shared with the class everything. And I shared with the woman sitting next to me, who now, of course, is crying, right, for the message that was brought to her.
Wow.
And she said to me, Maria said to me, "Shelby, your whole life is about to change." And I said, "What do you mean?" And she said, "You're going to figure it out. It's all going to unfold for you." And from
Wow.
that moment on, anywhere I went, I was an open book. I would look at someone and say, "Oh, they have colitis. Oh, that person's going to Hawaii. Oh, that," and then it became overwhelming because
Yeah.
then it was like, "Shut up, Shelby," right? It was like, what is going on here? And so I sat with my husband. I said, "Something is happening to me. I'm not sure what it is." And ironically, a friend of mine was having a group reading, having a medium come to her house. And she said, "Why don't you come along?" And I said, "Okay." And I locked eyes with this medium. And she said, "There's something between us. I can't quite figure it out yet." And she asked for my number. I gave her my number. And about a month, maybe 2 months later, she reached out to me and she said, "I'm teaching development classes. And I feel drawn to asking you to come." And I
Wow.
said, "I'm going to do it." Yeah.
Mm.
And so that was the beginning. That was the beginning of my story. And it was life-changing for me. It was completely life-changing because I've had discovered that the anxiety that I was feeling was spirit. It
Yeah.
was, the more I was around large crowds or around more people, the more anxious I became. I realized I was sensing, even though I wasn't tuning into them, I was sensing them, I was feeling them. So I learned how to then shut it on, shut it down, turn it on, turn it off, so that I could be me again.
Wow.
Yeah.
That you were just like bombarded with information and had no idea that that's what was coming through.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
do you get your information? How do you get your information? Is it auditory? Does it come in downloads? Is it clairvoyancy? Is it a mixture? Like, how do you get it?
Perfect. So for me, I use all my clairs. I'm very clairvoyant, so they will show me images. I had to work at clairsentience, believe it or not, the feeling. I always had the feeling, but I had to work and use that clair a little bit stronger to train myself to understand what I was seeing, to start to
Right.
feel into the sensation of it. But I do use all my clairs. I'm clairvoyant. I hear things, I see things, I feel things, I know things. And depending, believe it or not, on the communicator in the spirit world who I'm communicating with, is how, for that particular reading, what will be more dominant for me. So depending on how they were is the best way that they're going to communicate with me.
Wow.
So it works differently with each sitter. If there was somebody that was very quiet in the spirit world, I have to work a little harder with them. I have to get them to kind of, use their senses a little bit more to work with me.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
when you have a reading with someone, like how does this help them? How do your gifts help people heal?
That is such a beautiful, beautiful question. So, my intention behind doing readings is to help people, to help bring them comfort, to give them that clarity, knowing that their loved ones are with them.
Hmm.
And if I'm not tuning into them mediumistically and I'm working with them psychically, it's to help them to unfold what it is that they're struggling with, whatever it is that they're going with. Not everybody is grieving the loss over a loved one.
Right.
Sometimes they're grieving the loss over a job or a relationship or a home that they lived in for, a good amount of time.
Right.
So grief works in many ways. So to answer that question, how do I help them? I help them to see the bigger picture, but more importantly, when I'm connecting with the spirit world, my intention is to have them feel their loved ones as well,
Hmm.
not just for me to validate something and say, do you understand this information? And them to say, yes, I understand, or no, I don't understand. But them to truly experience what I'm experiencing, feeling them, right? I want them to feel for, even if it's for that moment that I'm sitting with them, to bring their loved ones alive, to experience that feeling that they once had with them, to know that they can still have that feeling, that same experience again with them.
Hmm. That's so comforting.
Yeah.
I love that intention.
Yeah.
So, what advice do you have for someone who might have this gift and how they might want to hone it?
So here's the thing. I think that we all have this gift. I think that the gift is knowing that you're able to use it,
Mm.
but it's an ability. And I
Yes.
feel that we all have this ability. The gift is, wow, I found the ability within me to be able to use it to help people. So if someone were to come to me and they were to say, hey, I feel like I have this, right? Or I'm able to connect with the spirit world, or since a little girl, I've been seeing spirit, or I just get these senses of things that are going on. My first question to them would to be, how well do you understand and know yourself? Because I feel that in order to be able to help someone else, we have to be able to hone in on ourselves,
Mm.
understand our intuition, know what it is that we're sensing and feeling within us. And this is a big responsibility, Marcy.
I
It's
would
a
say.
very big responsibility. People would say, oh, it's so cool what you do. It's not cool. It's not cool. It's healing.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's healing. And that's the intention behind it. I'm not here to say, look at the magic tricks that I can do. It's not
Right.
about that. It truly isn't. Um, People are hurting in the world,
I was
right?
going to say that grief is a very fragile place, and there's a lot of sadness and desperation and just overwhelm in it, in people's losses, especially in these past 2 years where so many souls have left the planet.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. But if
Yeah.
somebody were to come to me now and say to me, how can I hone in on these gifts, or what can I do? I would sit with them and I would ask them, you know, is it this something that you feel that you want to pursue and move forward to helping people? And if so, why? What is the intention behind it?
Right.
Right. Um, and then I would start working with them on understanding their own intuition. I would give them exercises on understanding their own intuition. I would work with them of setting boundaries,
Right.
knowing when it's appropriate to give a message to somebody and when it's not. Just because we keep our front door unlocked doesn't give us the right to walk into somebody's house.
Ooh.
You still have to have permission to enter.
Mm.
So there's really a
Free
lot that
will.
goes
Yeah. I,
right.
I I hear that. I totally hear that. Wow. I mean, it fascinates me because it really is a responsibility. That really sticks with me. And if someone is open and the right message comes through, I personally know how healing and
Right.
life affirming that is.
Absolutely. And on another note with that, our loved ones do whatever they can to let us know that they're with us. They really work so hard energetically. They work so hard to give us those signs, to let us know, that they're around us, that they see what's going on in our world right now.
Mm.
And it's beautiful that they bring through these validations, but it's really to trust that, right? It's really to trust, to know that they are here, that there is so much more to life than what we're able to see. And I think that's a big part of my story. Here I had, as a child living, I never had that safety net. So I lived in fear. I could tell you that, and I know I've shared with you, when I was 2 years old, they found me floating in a pool. When I
Yeah.
was 4 years old, I was locked in an elevator. I moved 4 times in elementary school. I went to 4 different elementary schools. So there
Mm.
really was no security, no safety. So it was like, who am I? Why am I here? What is my purpose?
Right.
And to know that, we do have a purpose. We all are here. There's a bigger reason why we're here. We need to trust and understand. And I truly believe that within each and every one of us, we have obstacles, within our journey, and it's working through them, overcoming them, understanding them. And I feel that our loved ones want us to know that they are safe, they are okay, they are working through their obstacles, whether they were able to do it here in the physical or whether they're doing it there in spirit.
Right.
And to let us know that more importantly than anything, we're not alone,
Mm.
right? We're not alone.
It really is and needs to be reiterated is like energy cannot be created or destroyed. The
Mm-mm.
soul is inextinguishable. That's
Yeah,
it. The essence of who we are cannot be destroyed. So for thousands of years, that's been the question. Where does it go?
right.
Right? When we leave this body, that's what people have been trying to ask. And the beautiful thing is that you're able to connect with that energy, with that essence of the soul from the other side and bring comfort, bring love, bring messages in whatever way that needs to be for the individual person. And again, it just, you are embody, I think, what every person needs to hear. You can turn your mess into your message.
Oh, I love
Right?
that. Yes, I love that. That's
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah, it's like you're reclaiming your safety and turning your literally crippling anxiety into your gift and then being able to share it. And we'll talk about this at the end, but like Shelby does individual readings, she does group readings, she says she does, you do mentorships. Like, what an incredible transformation,
Right.
um, for you to not only embody your own safety, but then help others feel safe. Because the biggest fear, what I've realized, is that everyone's terrified of dying. That's it. Whether
Yeah.
it's for themselves or for their loved ones or for their loved ones in relation to their deaths, it's like that's the fear. That's what this whole 2 years has brought on with everybody. And what a gift. What a gift you give to the world in your work.
And Marcy, I think that looking back now, I think that's why I was so drawn to wanting to help so many
Yes.
children and and people, because not knowing at the moment at that time that I was in pain myself, it
Right.
was, I don't want anybody to ever have to suffer. I know what pain
Mm.
feels like, right? And
Yeah.
that's how I feel today. That's how I feel today. I feel, let me hold your hand. Let me take you through this journey. You're going to be okay, right? I feel you. I hear you.
Such a
And
compassionate soul you are from a very young age. It's a gift. If everybody could have that compassion for themselves and others, the world would be a completely different place.
yeah, but it did take a lot for me
Of
to
course.
understand.
Yeah.
It truly did. I can't say that it was an easy road,
No.
um, but it definitely did. And I'm
Wow.
so grateful. I'm so grateful for where I am today. Everything is
Mm.
unfolding in front of me, and there's still so much more for me to learn and do. there's so much more. This is just, every chapter I say, oh, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning, right?
I love it.
Yeah.
So, if you're open to it, and we know each other, but there are some things you may know, there are things you don't know. Are you open to like reading me briefly so people can hear, or if they're watching this on YouTube, see how this works?
Sure, I can absolutely give it a shot there and see
Okay.
where we
Yeah.
go.
Let's
Yeah.
see where we
So,
go.
okay. So I know you've had many readings before with others as well. If you could just give me the yes, you understand the information, or no, you're not understanding it, right?
Yeah.
And you know that you may be a messenger as well. So I may be giving you something to pass along to somebody else in the family.
Okay.
Let's see where we go here. So I've got a gentleman here in the spirit world for you. I do know that this is an older gentleman. Okay. So
Okay.
it's not a child. Okay. I have this gentleman that's here in the spirit world for you. And you must have had a very, very close connection to him, or I want to say he must have been a very religious man, because this man is stepping forward here and he's placing his hand on your chest, and he's showing me here. It's very interesting. He's showing me here him actually calming you down. Funny that we were talking about anxiety, because he's placing his hand on your chest and he's showing me here how he prays over you. Okay. And that's why I say religious man, or I would say a man of faith. I definitely want to say. And he's showing me him placing his hand on your chest, reassuring you, letting you know that that everything is okay there for you as well. He talks about a big celebration, being part of a big celebration. And I feel like either this celebration either just passed or is coming up, but he talks about the family gathering together in this big celebration. Would you understand that, this celebration? You could say no.
No.
Okay. There's a celebration that he talks about the whole family coming together here for this celebration. He's making me want to, for some reason, I want to be saying birthday. He's showing me candles. So I feel like birthday celebration.
Okay, so my birthday is next week.
Oh, get out. Oh my gosh. Happy birthday.
I don't have a big celebration plan, but okay.
But that's a big celebration. Yes.
Okay.
Well, or that you know of, right?
Yeah.
But he does make me feel like everybody coming together for this celebration for you, for this birthday. This gentleman also makes me feel, to me, he makes me feel like a grandfather in the spirit world. And for some reason, I'm more drawn to dad's side than mom's side. So I could be wrong, but I do feel that this is grandfather there in the spirit world for you. And he's also making me feel that, oh, this is interesting. He shows me that you were just recently looking at old photos. So there were old family photos that you must have just been looking at. I'm going to say within the past 2 weeks or so that you would have taken out. Would you understand that?
Yeah.
Where you would be looking through these old photos. So know that his soul was there with you. As he comes closer here, so if this isn't dad's dad, this would be mom's dad. Would you understand, Marci? I don't know if you want me to go fully into depth here.
Go.
But, okay. Would you understand the family dynamics, your family dynamics kind of split here
Yes.
in your family? Okay.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that he is saying is, I'm sorry that I couldn't be there for you in the way that I would have liked to be there for you, to give you those words of encouragement and to reassure you, to help you unfold within your own path that you've taken and give you that guidance that you could have used back then, right, at that time.
Wow.
But he thinks about how proud he is of you, of the woman that you've become. And I have to tell you, he's patting himself on the back right now. So I know that when I tune into him, he was a man that had a lot of dignity and cared for others and the way to approach others. Would you understand that, to handle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
He's showing me that as well. One last thing I want to say to you. This pertains to your family, especially with mom. He's saying it's okay to be different.
So now this was my mother's father that came through in this second part, or it's always my
No. I felt at first that this was dad's dad.
right.
But then I switched over because I felt more connection that he needed to give the message there, regarding mom.
Got it.
Yeah. So would you understand then Um, I know that you are Jewish, right? But I kept on
Yes.
seeing, and forgive me because I don't know what it is, that it's almost like the scarf
The
that,
tallis.
okay,
Yes.
okay. That's what he was wearing. That's what he was
Wow.
showing. Yeah,
Interesting. Huh.
yeah. So was there a grandfather of yours that would have been very into his religion or his faith?
Well, my mother's parents, my mother's mother came from Poland as an Orthodox Jew.
Mm,
And, but her husband, I mean, I think they kept kosher as, and were observant as they could be. Um, that's interesting.
would you understand not having a close relationship with him?
No, that was my father's father. So
Okay.
I feel like it might have merged a little bit.
Yeah. And
And
sometimes that does happen. That's,
yeah,
I'm actually glad that this, just to show, viewers how this can happen. When you're
yeah,
having a grandfather on both sides, there's a similarity between the two of them. So
yeah.
would you understand both of them being religious in that sense?
Yeah, yeah, I would. My father's father, a beautiful, loving man. Um, and there was a sense of closeness, but not closeness.
Hmm.
And then the split in the family, I would imagine him apologizing or giving me comfort around that.
Absolutely.
Ar-
Absolutely.
Around,
Or
yeah.
relationship with your family is what you're saying,
Yeah,
right?
with his
Yeah.
son, with my
Okay.
dad. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Very,
Yeah.
very interesting. Would
Yeah.
you understand though, you seeing things differently though with your mom as well? Would you
Yeah.
understand? Because I
I
did feel that. I felt
yeah.
when I tuned into your mom's energy, I saw you being very, very different, respectful of each other, but different views, different ways of looking at things. And believe it or
Yes.
not, I feel like your mom is learning from you.
1,000,000%.
Yeah, I see her, like I'm tuning into your mom's energy right now, and I see her saying, like, wow, I really didn't have the answers. I thought I did, and look
Yeah.
what my daughter is teaching me. And I have to say, whether
That's
your
true.
mom shares it with you or not, there
She
is this
does.
overwhelming proudness that she has of you. I sense it and I feel so strong with that. I
It's so
absolutely,
true. It's so true. I've come to have so much healing with my mom
mm,
around everything. I also had a very rough childhood,
mm,
and the healing that my mom and I have gone through together, she is very different from me, and I love and respect and honor her way. And the truth of what you say is every day and every way she says how proud she is of me. I could cry. How proud she is of me, how much she learns, how much I help her. Um, yeah, just you're bang on.
yeah. And they're also showing me here this crown going on your head at the moment. They just placed this crown, this beautiful crown. Yeah, just saying, like, you give so much healing, right? You give so much to so many other people. And it's almost as though you finding your calling as well, right? It's like,
Yeah.
this is what feels right to you, truly, truly feels right to you. I don't want to dismiss just because I sensed it as well. I do feel a grandmother of yours in the spirit world, and she did show me holding a baby with her in the spirit. So I do
You
have to
know that.
recognize that, yep, and say that as well. I can't dismiss though that I'm seeing that. Is there a significance to the month of October around you as well?
Not as of yet.
Okay, birthday, passing, or anniversary? Actually, I'm
Nope.
going to go not to October, November. They
Nope.
just circled
It's
November. I'm
November. You're
sorry.
right. That's my Nana. That's the one
Okay.
holding the baby. She
Okay.
passed in November.
Okay. Perfect. Just honoring.
Wow. And
Yeah.
I want to say
And
about,
a loving woman,
oh,
very loving woman, because she's coming through right now. She's taking me right over to you. And if I could kiss you through the screen, I would. She's just giving you all these kisses.
that's
Mm.
her, the most loving woman in the world. And what's crazy about the crown, Shelby, is my Hebrew name is Malka, which means queen.
Oh, interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and I never felt like a queen until recently.
Wow. Can
Yeah,
I
like
ask you also, Marcy, did you have a conversation with your grandmother prior to her passing, where she would have come forward to let you know that she was going to take care of that of your baby for you?
um no, I don't know because she wasn't alive when, well, you know what? I actually have to say that yes. In spirit world, she did. Every day when my son was in the NICU and he kept having these problems and brain bleeds and a 64% chance of cerebral palsy, I would pray every day for her to take him and take care of him.
Okay,
So,
perfect.
yes.
It's giving me that message, like I made this promise to take care of him. I made this promise, and she just shows me her holding him. It's so beautiful to see.
Wow. Oh my God. I'm so blown away. You again, even you're just so accurate and so loving, and this was exactly what my heart needed today.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Yes. And
Especially, yeah, it's really
and
powerful.
lots of more boundaries for you. Lots of more boundaries. I see you, you know what it is? I see you standing in your power saying, nope, I'm not tolerating this and kicking to the curb.
Yeah,
So
that's
yeah,
been a lesson
you,
for me. That's
yeah,
been a big lesson for me is setting boundaries with everybody, my kids, um, you know, partners, people who want to like glom onto my energy and like feed off my light, and I have to be like, mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm.
right.
You know, it's
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 depleting after a while.
it's draining. It's
Yeah,
draining. It's so draining and I can't do it because then there's just nothing for me, you know? So
right.
thank you. These are just
You're
they're just
welcome.
so bang on. It's so good.
Oh, thank
Very
you for
heart
allowing
healing.
me.
Thank
Oh,
you. You're
so
just, I am just so honored to know you and for us to be in this, walking this path together. Thank you for this beautiful gift. How
yes,
can everybody connect with you and schedule appointments and come to your readings and all of the things? How does everyone
sure.
find you?
So the easiest way is right through my website. It's shelby-may.com. So it's Shelby, Saglby -May, and it's MAY, not MAE, .com. And from there, you'll see my Instagram, my Facebook. They can schedule an appointment from there.
Beautiful.
Best way. Yep.
I'm going to
Yeah.
link your website in the show notes so
Okay.
everybody can just open it up and click and connect with you. I just want to thank you for this beautiful opportunity for everyone to hear your story, for everyone to hear what a reading sounds like and how accurate that truly is. I'm in tears. It is exactly what my soul needed to hear today. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. And I just have to thank you because I am just as honored to be here and excited. And I can't thank you enough from the bottom of my heart. It means so much to me to be here right now and sharing that with you. So thank you, Marcy. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you. If anyone thinks that this podcast would be beneficial to somebody, please share it, knowing that whoever is meant to hear it, they do. Thank you and see you next time. Bye.
Hi. Thanks, Marcy. That's it for this week's episode of Mondays with Marcy. Be sure to subscribe to my newsletter at marcibaronclears.com. I also would love for you to follow me on your favorite podcasting app so that you don't miss a single episode. I'm Marci Baron, and thanks for listening. I am so grateful you are here.